Hello all, welcome to the course Frozen Foods and Cold Chain Management. So in previous sections we have discussed various topics related to freezing, that is introduction to freezing, fundamentals of freezing, in which we have discussed various components of freezing curve and how the freezing mechanism takes place in food materials, and how the ice crystal formation takes place in food materials. And in the last lecture we have seen the microbiology of frozen foods, in which we have discussed the microbiology, means various organisms responsible for spoilage of frozen foods under freezing at frozen storage, and quality changes during freezing of frozen foods. Uh, and in this section we will discuss freezing load and freezing time calculations. So before designing an equipment, we should understand what amount of freezing load is required to be reduced or to be provided, so that the food is frozen to a particular temperature below its freezing point. And the time required for freezing also need to be predicted before selection of the freezing equipment. Excuse me. So in this section we will discuss freezing load. So freezing load or enthalpy change to reduce the temperature Ti from some level above the freezing point Tf to some desired final temperature. So freezing load is the temperature change or enthalpy change that required to reduce a product temperature from an initial temperature, say Ti, to a final temperature T, which is below the freezing point of the food material. For suppose you want to freeze a particular apple which is at an initial temperature of Ti, say suppose 30 degrees centigrade, and you want to reduce the temperature to a temperature say minus 40 degrees centigrade, which is T, and the freezing point of the apple is say minus 1.8 or minus 0.5 degrees centigrade, which is your Tf. So freezing load is the enthalpy change required to reduce the temperature of a product which is at the temperature of Ti to a final temperature T. This T is below the freezing point of the food material. So this change in enthalpy is the sum of various components. So first, Ti to Tf, we need to reduce the sensible heat. So sensible heat removed from the product solids, say delta Hs. Then we know when we know what is the composition of food materials during the freezing operation. So there are frozen solids, product solids, and there are unfrozen liquor, and there is frozen ice. So we have to consider all this when calculating this freezing load. So first term is you have to reduce the reduce the temperature from Ti to Tf. So that is simply sensible heat removed from the product solids plus sensible heat removed from the unfrozen water. And during conversion of ice to water to ice, so there is enthalpy change due to release of latent heat of crystallization. And after freezing completion, so the frozen food product from Tf to T is to be reduced. That is also sensible heat removed from the frozen water, delta Hi. Say frozen water means ice, so delta Hi. So delta Hs is the sensible heat removed from the product solids would be mass of the solids, say specific heat of the solids, and initial temperature minus freezing temperature. So up to here the specific would be can be considered as same, and we know for enthalpy is mass into specific heat into temperature difference, right? So mass of the solids into specific heat of the solids into temperature difference up to Ti to Tf. After reaching Tf, then this water gets converted into ice. Then after completion of freezing, you have to reduce the temperature from Tf to T. So mass of solids, here also the specific heat will change from Tf to T. The specific heat and temperature difference, that is Tf to T. So by integration you can determine, or simply you can say Ms Cps into Tf minus T. In this way also you can find the sensible heat removed from the product solids. Similarly, sensible heat removed from the unfrozen water, that is unfrozen liquor, you can say mass of unfrozen water, specific heat of unfrozen water, and within the temperature range of I to Tf up to freezing point, plus mass of unfrozen water and specific heat of unfrozen water after completion of the freezing minus into Tf minus T. So this is removal of sensible heat from a temperature range Ti to Tf from another temperature range Tf to T. So this composition of unfrozen water may change after freezing, before freezing and after freezing. And latent heat of crystallization can be simply calculated from mass of ice into latent heat of crystallization, right? Next, delta sensible heat removed from the frozen water is mass of ice. Frozen water is nothing but ice. Mass of ice into specific heat of ice. So here ice formation takes place at Tf only. So Tf T to T, or you can simply integrate in this temperature range to calculate. So the freezing load is sum of the all these temperatures. That is sensible heat removed from the product solid, sensible heat removed from the unfrozen water, sensible heat removed from the frozen water, and the enthalpy change due to latent heat of crystallization. So here notations I have given mass of solids, specific heat of solids, that we have discussed in the last slide. So how you can say the percentage of water, what is the percentage of water or percentage of ice? So these are published in literature. Here I have given the example of frozen grape juice. So here say 0 Tf is the freezing point of the grape juice, which is minus 1.8 degrees centigrade. So when you reduce the temperature from 0 to Tf, from Tf to a temperature say T, that is minus 40. Okay. So this is the fraction of ice to solid to liquid. So you can say unfrozen product fraction. So 1 to 0. So from this you can predict the amount of frozen water, that is ice, and unfrozen water. So another in continuation of discussion of freezing load, so we will define what is freezing rate and thermal center, which are important in determination of freezing rate and freezing calculation of freezing time. So we all know fruit materials consist of heterogeneous composition. So the absence of consistent definition for the freezing time is one of the problems associated with the published literature on freezing of foods. This problem arises mainly because foods do not freeze at a distinct temperature, but rather than the phase change takes place over a range of temperatures, right? So if you look at the freezing curve, there you can see the conversion of water to ice takes place at a temperature range rather than a particular temperature Tf, even though we define a freezing point. So definition of the freezing time requires a definition of the freezing point. A variable temperature distribution exists within the food product during the freezing process. So we know say whatever the equipment we use for freezing of food material, there is a differential temperature gradient at the surface to the center. So at different locations of the food material, the temperature is different. So that to avoid this, they have defined a term which is known as thermal center. Thermal center, defined as the location in the material which cools most slowly, is generally used as the reference location. So the location in any food material where the rate of cooling is very low, or you can say it takes more time to cool compared to other locations, so that location is known as thermal center. So based on thermal center, the freezing time is defined as the effective freezing time defined by the International Institute of Refrigeration is the total time required to lower the temperature of a food material at its thermal center to a desired temperature below the initial freezing point. So now the freezing time has changed. So freezing time is the total time required to reduce the temperature at thermal center, lower the temperature of food material at its thermal center to a desired temperature below the initial freezing point, that is from Tf to T. T is your desired temperature, that may be minus 20 degrees centigrade, minus 40 degrees centigrade. So that depends upon commercial aspects. So another definitions, you can say time required to reduce the product temperature at the slowest cooling location from the initial freezing point to some desired and specified temperature below the initial freezing point. So whatever the temperature you select, the final temperature should always below the TF, that is freezing point. Say freezing point is say minus 1.8, then the desired temperature would always be minus 20, minus 18, minus 40 degree centigrade. So the time freezing time is defined from TF to T, whatever the time required to reach from TF to final temperature, that is your freezing time. So we will conclude this section here, and in part 2 we will try to derive the different equations used for determination of or calculation of freezing time. Thank you.